There's a moment in every man's life where you sit down somewhere quiet and you ask yourself, honestly, can I keep doing this? Not in a dramatic way, just in this very calm, kind of tired way where you're taking inventory of everything you're carrying and the math isn't adding up anymore. Where you've been pushing for so long that you've forgotten what you were pushing toward, and the only thing you know for sure is that you're exhausted. I had mine earlier this year. And I think the reason I want to talk about it is because I remember when I was in the middle of it, looking everywhere for someone who had been in the exact same place. Someone who could just say, yeah, I was there and I'm still here. Not someone with answers, not someone selling me a system, just someone who'd walk through it. And I couldn't find that person. So I guess I'm trying to be that person. Even if it's just for one person watching this who needs to hear it. It didn't happen overnight. That's the part nobody talks about. Rock bottom in movies is one big event, a house burning down, a marriage ending, a phone call in the middle of the night. Rock bottom in real life is a slow accumulation, a series of small failures that compound until you wake up one day and realize you can't actually point to when things got this bad. For me, it had been a few years of things going wrong, years of poor choices. We had restarted our lives twice, moved to another country, watched it fall apart, moved back. Started over $50,000 in debt, nothing in savings, the kind of financial situation where you're one missed paycheck away from a real, actual ruin. Not a metaphor, the actual collapse kind of ruin. When the how am I going to pay for rent and food this time thoughts dwell on your mind every waking moment. And then disaster came anyway because it always does. I got fired from what I genuinely thought was my dream job. Had to start over again at a lower salary, which made the math even worse than it already was. My dog died, the one I had for 12 years. And then my other dog also died. He was 10 and I found him when he was so small, we fit him inside of a sock for warmth. I want to stop on that last one for a second. In a list of terrible things that include that and a family crisis, dogs dying can sound smaller than the rest, but it is not smaller. There is no order to grief. Losing them both hurt as much as anything financial. I dare say even more, because at least with money, you can theoretically work your way out. With them, there was no working out of it. They were just gone. That was the floor I was standing on. And then my wife got pregnant. The thing about life is, it is not a downward slide, and it's not an upward climb. It's a roller coaster, to put it in a cliche kind of way. That's the metaphor everyone uses, and it's overused for a reason, because just when you think you understand the shape of your suffering, life adds something joyful, and you forget for a second that anything was ever wrong. We had been trying to get pregnant for a long time. I basically accepted that maybe it just wasn't going to happen for us. And for a while, we were actually okay with it. We stopped trying so hard, we came to peace with the fact that it'd be just us forever. And then one day she called me into the bedroom and showed me the positive test. And I can't really describe what that felt like. It felt like the universe finally remembered that we existed, like, okay, after everything, here's something good. Even with the financial issues, even with the job issues, even with everything else going on, I knew we would figure it out. Because I would give my child the best life possible, or I would die trying. Then we went to the doctor and they told us it was twins. I'd wanted twins my entire life. I don't even know why. It was just one of those things I'd always quietly hoped for, going back to when I was a kid, and my wife's family had a history of them, and she's over 30, so the odds were higher than usual, but I still hadn't let myself believe it could actually happen. But it did. For about 3 weeks I felt genuinely, completely, and weightlessly happy. It was like someone put me in this perfect world where all of my dreams come true and where I knew for a fact things would improve and I would get us out of this mess. Not only for our sake now, but for theirs. In this world, the financial stuff didn't matter, because I would find a way. The dogs dying didn't hurt as much because I loved them, and they loved me, and it was just a natural part of life. It was like every bad thing I'd been carrying could be set down for a while because I finally had something to look forward to that was bigger than any of it. And then she started spiraling. I'm going to be careful here, because this isn't just my story. It's hers too. And what I can say is that she started telling me she wasn't sure she wanted them, that she didn't feel anything for them, that she didn't want to be a mother, not like this, not in this situation, that that meant we'd never give them the life they deserved, that we'd never travel, never enjoy our youth, never get back any of the future we'd already given up trying to chase. She cried a lot during those weeks, and I cried too, just not in front of her. And I want to be clear about something because I think it is very important. She was not wrong about any of it. We were $50,000 in debt. I had just been fired from a job and was making less than I used to. We had no savings. We were carrying the financial weight of 2 countries' worth of failure. By any rational measure, this was not a good time to have children. It was definitely not a good time to have 2 of them simultaneously. But I'm gonna be honest about what actually hurt the most. Even though I know it's selfish, even though I know her feelings weren't about me. It was that she just didn't believe in me anymore. I had told her over and over that I would keep our heads above water, that I would be the ship, the rock, whatever metaphor you want to use for the thing that holds when everything else is falling apart. That was a role I had chosen for myself, and it was a role she had let me play for years. And somewhere in those weeks, I realized she had stopped believing I could. That was my rock bottom. Not the debt, not the dogs, not the firing. Her quiet, completely justified loss of faith in the person I had been promising her I was. Because after all of it, after leaving everything behind to chase a future we thought another country would give us, after going into debt twice trying to build a life, after me telling her every single time things got worse that I had it, that I was handling it, that the freedom we both wanted was on the other side of just one more year of pushing, she had finally heard it enough times to stop believing me. And the worst part is, I couldn't even argue with her because the evidence was on her side. So the thing she was saying wasn't crazy. It was actually the most clear-eyed assessment of her situation that anyone could have made. I just wasn't ready to hear it from the one person whose faith was the only thing keeping me going. It just happened to be the assessment I couldn't survive hearing. Because in my head, those twins were the thing that was finally going to be okay. They were the proof that the universe wasn't only taking from us, and here she was. The person closest to me in the world telling me she might not want him. I didn't know what to say, I didn't know what to feel. I tried to understand. I tried to be the supportive partner I was supposed to be in that moment. But somewhere underneath all of that, something in me was just quietly breaking. This is the part where I tell you what was actually happening to me, because I don't think I was honest with myself about it at the time. I had stopped talking to my parents, not in a big way, not in a fight kind of way. I just gone quiet, stopped calling, stopped picking up the phone, because every conversation required me to perform that things were fine and I didn't have the energy left to perform anything. One day Mom called, asking if she had done something to make me upset. She told me Dad kept asking why I stopped calling, if I was okay. But I was not okay. I was crying most days. Sometimes in the bathroom, sometimes in the car, always alone. Because the unspoken rule of being the man in the financial collapse of your family is that you don't get to break, you just don't. You're the one who's supposed to figure it out, so whatever was breaking in me had to break privately. So of course I couldn't tell that to my parents, I couldn't tell that to my friends. I couldn't show this weakness to anybody. So I was working constantly, my new job, plus extra income online, plus helping a friend clean his Airbnb on weekends for a couple of dollars here and there. I was selling my stuff. Anything that had money attached to it, I was doing. I was consolidating debt to make minimum payments, and then I was starting to fail at making those too. I was tired in a way I didn't know was possible. Not sleepy tired, just tired to the bone. Tired in the parts of you that you can't fix with rest. And the worst part, the part I'm only just starting to understand now, is that I kept telling myself that I was fine, that I was handling it, that a man handles it. So I never sat anyone down and said, I think something's really wrong with me. I never asked for help. I just kept pushing. And when she told me she wasn't sure about the twins, I think that was the moment I actually broke. Not visibly, not all at once, but something inside me just quietly went out. Felt like it died. I knew somewhere in me that we needed help, so I did the thing you're supposed to do. I tried to get her to see a psychologist. She went once, she never wanted to go back. I made an appointment for myself, and then I didn't go. I told myself it was because we couldn't afford it, which was true. Those visits aren't cheap, and we were already drowning in debt, and every dollar I was spending on me was a dollar I wasn't using to dig us out. So it made sense. It was a responsible decision. That's what I told myself. But the truth, the more honest truth, is that I was scared. Scared that if I sat down across from someone and started actually saying everything out loud, I wouldn't be able to put it back. That whatever I was holding in would come out and I wouldn't be able to get back to work the next morning and keep doing what needed to be done. So I didn't go. I told myself I couldn't afford to. I think the real thing I couldn't afford was the version of me that would exist after that appointment. I want to tell you that there was some big turning point after that. Some moment of clarity where I went and got help, or had the conversation that changed everything, or found some philosophy that pulled me out. But that would be a lie. She came around on her own, slowly. Then later, we lost one of the twins, which I already talked about in a different video, and I'm not ready to talk about it here, so if you want to hear about that, you can. What I can tell you is what I learned. Not learned in a clean way, not learned in a way I could put on a thumbnail. Learn in the way you learn things when life forces you to. I learned that there's a kind of strength that actually just postpones collapse. That carrying things alone for too long doesn't make you stronger, it just delays the moment when you find out you couldn't. I learned that my refusal to ask for help wasn't dignity, it was something closer to fear. Fear that if I admitted I couldn't do it, I would lose whoever was depending on me. I learned that being a man and being a person who is allowed to break are not opposite things. And I learned, eventually, that rock bottom isn't actually the bottom of anything. It's just a floor that's lower than the one you thought you were standing on. You stand on it for a while, you sit down, you catch your breath, and then, eventually, you get up. I'm not out of it. I want to be honest about that. The debt's still there, the fear's still there. There are still days where I look at the math of my life and I can't figure out how it's supposed to work. I'm about to be a father, with everything that means and everything it costs, and I don't have it figured out. But she's back. Or something like back. She's excited to meet her baby this year. She talks about it now in a way she couldn't a few months ago. And on the good days, I can see the person I fell in love with again, and I remember what it was like before all of this. I'm not going to tell you it gets better, I don't know that. I'm still in the part of the story where the outcome isn't decided yet. What I can tell you is that I'm still here, she's still here, and whatever this is, we're in it together again, which is more than I had a few months ago. If you've been where I was, or you're there right now and that's why YouTube put this in front of you, I just want you to know that the part of you that's tired isn't weakness. It's just proof of how much you've been carrying for however long. And the bravest thing you can do, the genuinely bravest thing, is to put some of it down, even just a little, even just one thing. That's where I'm trying to start. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying. Please take care of yourself and your loved ones.